I was a national level volleyball player, a varsity wrestler competing against some of the best wrestlers in my country, and I've only been doing calisthenics for a year. In that time, I managed to get to 50 kilos for 4 reps on weighted pull-ups, 50 kilos for 10 reps on weighted dips. I achieved the one-arm pull-up, I achieved the front lever, and also I achieved the no-dip muscle-up and over 70 handstand push-ups in one workout. And I managed to do that where the first 6 months of me training calisthenics, I was either participating in a different sport or I was injured. Because of my mindset, what I'm going to be giving to you, the 7 key things that I'm going to be teaching you and I'm going to be showing you of my mindset and the way I go about my training in my life. Thing number 1 is to dilute yourself. Many of the guys online who you see making millions, who have the successful career, who you see have the amazing training results and have the awesome skills that they achieve and the cool strength numbers, most of them are kind of stupid. Me included. Probably you as well. The only difference is between those successful people, me or you, is the fact that those people take the skill or take the thing that they're trying to accomplish more seriously, and they have a very, very hard set belief that they are able to accomplish it. So many people, when they start something new, it's such an effort for them to say, I'm going to get really good at this one thing. I'm going to get world class at this one thing. I'm going to become a professional at this one thing. It could be a cooking class for all I care. When I was like 12, 13 years old, I took a cooking class. I wanted to be like the best chef in the world. The second I got in there, I was making tortillas. I don't know how to make a tortilla. The reason I was one of the best in that class, though, even though I was one of the least experienced, I was like one of the only dudes. You think that the women aren't able to naturally cook better than me? Come on. The reason why I was able to progress so quickly is because I set the standard for myself so high. When I talked in the beginning about being a national level volleyball player, you can see my medals back there along with my wrestling plaque. When I had these goals, what I would do is I would think of the top level and I would compare myself to the guys at the top. And I managed to do it in a non-toxic way. You don't want to do it in a toxic way to where you're constantly beating yourself down. You just started a new sport and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm not an Olympian yet. I suck. That's not how that works. The reason why I got to such a high level in volleyball when I did and how I did was because I didn't compare myself to my teammates. I didn't compare myself to the other kids my age. I compared myself to the literal Olympic athletes I would see. And the thing is, it's been so long since I've done that, I've actually forgot some of the athletes' names. But when it comes to calisthenics, who do I compare myself to? I look at people like Philip Soley. I look at people like Matthew Zlat. I look up to people like Ian Barsigal. I look up to Dima Poles. I look up to all of these guys and all of these people, some in my own community. I compare myself to all of these people. And I think these people are my goal. One guy in my community is doing like 20 one-arm pull-ups. Do you know how insane that is? He's doing 20 in a row. I compare myself to that dude. The reason is because if I were to compare myself to other kids my age, there's like one person I can think of who's better than me in some things. We Get Better, if you look up the channel, he's another 16-year-old athlete. If you look up We Get Better on YouTube, he's right there. That guy's cool and all. And yeah, that gives me drive. That makes me think that I can get to such a higher level. But that's one guy. I can easily cope and say like, oh, he's genetically gifted, which he 100% is. But so am I. So you need to dilute yourself. You need to think that these guys' level isn't that far away. I just need to put in the time and I need to put in the work and I just need to do all the right things for long enough and I will be able to do it. Thing number 2, positive self-talk. It sounds super, super gay, but just hear me out. You should never talk bad about yourself. What good is going to come if you talk trash about yourself? Really, realistically. It'll motivate me to do better. You sound gay. You shouldn't need to be motivated by dogging on yourself. You shouldn't need to be motivated by thinking you're worthless or useless. That's stuff that little kids do. That's stuff that those cringe, like, berserk edits, like on Instagram or YouTube Shorts or whatever do. You're almost an adult. If you're watching this, you're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 25, anywhere between that range is the most common people who watch my channel. You're an adult. You're becoming an adult. You really need cringe berserk edits to get motivated? What do you think people did, the real men, 100 years ago, who had to walk to their factory job to work 18 hours a day? What do you think they did? Do you think they had berserk edits? No. They had a purpose and they had a requirement to do. Even when you make a mistake, you switch it I just learned a very important lesson. There's a guy in my community who got injured recently, who it was bad. It's been like a 6-month process. This guy hates the fact that he got injured, and I'm with him. I would hate the same thing, but I keep having to tell him, and we talk through DMs because he messaged me like asking for advice. I have to tell him, you need to see this as an opportunity to, one, be able to help someone in the future, and two, to go through the struggle of being injured, so next time it happens, if it does happen, God forbid, you are ready to do that, because this is going to be one of the hardest things in your training career, and you need to look through that. What benefit is it going to give him thinking, I'm worthless, I can't do anything, oh, life sucks? There's nothing. It's just going to make it harder. Is it going to make the situation better? Mentally, yes. Physically, no, absolutely not. But it will be better to think positively versus negatively, because of the fact that you'll be able to absorb more from it. You'll be able to learn more from it. It's not just a horrible thing in your life. Yes, it's horrible, but it's something that's going to allow you to grow, and that's super, super important. This leads me into my next thing of the whole positivity cycle. You need a firm foundation. You need something that you base your training on, that you base your life on, that you base your goals off of, for you, based on who you are. A lot of people nowadays, especially guys my age, and I was guilty of it up until a couple years ago, maybe even a couple months ago, who knows? A lot of guys look up to people as their role model. And the thing is, every single person has flaws, and every single person makes mistakes. I personally believe that the Christian faith is the way to live a proper life, to live a good life. Now, if you're Muslim, if you're Hindu, if you're Buddhist, if you're whatever, I'm not coming here to argue that with you. That's something that you research on your own, and I'm just giving you my experience. But what I will say, if you have nothing you base your life off of, if you have nothing that's above you in some way, if you have nothing that you want to serve, that you want to give to, that is higher than you are, then it's almost impossible to be consistent. I believe that my God-given purpose is this thing, is recording this, is training to my absolute best ability. You know how much purpose that gives me? I go to bed roughly 7, 8 p.m. I wake up around 3. This morning I woke up at 1 o'clock without an alarm, just because I was so excited to set up and record and do my Bible study and get my morning going, because I'm just that driven with purpose. These are the most purposeful days of my life. If I didn't have that, I'd make less progress. Maybe I would make progress. Maybe I would be a somewhat successful coach, a somewhat successful athlete. Maybe I'd even be stronger than I am now because I'm sleeping more. Maybe I would eat a little bit more junk food, so I'd have some more calories. Instead of maintaining my weight, I would probably gain a little bit. Some of it would go to muscle. Maybe I would have better results. Who knows? But this foundation is the thing that keeps me coming back over and over and over and over again. It was like that when I played volleyball. It was my God-given gift in my eyes. When I wrestled, when I made varsity my first ever year, God-given gift. When I got into weightlifting, when I'm with my woman, and I'm with my family or my friends, or I'm doing school, I'm advanced in all of these things. And that's not to brag, I'm just saying. I'm in all advanced programs in school. I have some of the best friends that I could possibly ask for. I'm very gifted with the family that I was given and the upbringing that I have. I genuinely, at 16, have pretty much all of it. And I believe that is my God-given gift. And I believe my job is to help as many people as possible. And I'm going to do that with calisthenics. You need to find what is your foundation. What is the thing you base your life off of? What is your purpose and your mission statement to yourself? And this could take you years to find. And it changes depending on the period you're in. Right now it could be fitness. Later it could be your relationship. Later it could be your children. Later it could be you're 80 years old and your wife is on her deathbed. Your purpose is to take care of her. Your purpose is to work now. Your purpose is to go gym. It doesn't matter. But you need to find out what that thing is for you, because it is so unbelievably important. You have absolutely no idea. Next thing. Be humble to absolutely everybody. Not just people who are better than you. So many guys, so many athletes have such egos when it comes to these things, when it comes to listening to other people for advice. That's cool. You want to be better than someone, you can be better than someone. But I have personally been saved hundreds of times by listening to people who are worse than me, who are 1,000 times beneath me in the sport and the activity that we are doing, because different people have different insights. A beginner has a different insight than an advanced person. Normally, the advanced person is more correct, but an insight is still an insight, and you can still think and modify your opinion based on that. I remember one time when I was wrestling, there was one move I was just weirdly good at starting out. It was like, I forget what it's called because it's been like a year since I've wrestled. But you clasp around the person, you throw your leg over, it's like a hip toss. You throw them over your hip. And then you turn, and then they go flying, and then you can sometimes, if you hold them correctly, you can just leave them into a pin straight from there. You can end the match. I would hit that on most people on my team. I would set it up. I would go for a double. I would push them as they stood up. They would stand up. I would clasp, and then I would throw. I was having like 60 to 70% success with it. And the thing is, I had one of the worst people on the team tell me I was doing it wrong. Most people would have a giant ego and say, oh, you don't know anything. But I listened. He told me my hips were positioned wrong. I was doing this wrong. I could grab like this. If I got in deeper on my left side, I could grab tighter so the person would be closer to me. And I said, okay, I'm going to try it. There was only one person on the team I couldn't do that to. Former state champion. I think went to nationals at some point. Well, it did go to nationals because he was a state champion. What do you think happened when I had tried that new technique against former state champion? Absolutely nothing, because there was no shot I was taking that man down. But it got better, and the success rate went up against the people who it did work against. If I would have had an ego and listened to that guy and been like, oh, well, you're dumb and you don't know anything, I would have been worse. It's the same thing with street lifting programming. I have a couple guys in my community. I hate Grease the Groove with a personal passion. It's like you do a movement every single day, like pull-ups, for example, and you do like really easy sets throughout the day. I think it's horrible. But guys in my community have done it, and they made progress, and I actually get to learn about it. I had a coaching client who reached out to Philip solely about the program we were using, and Philip told us to use Emon. I personally think Emon is crazy to use in the program that we were using. But I was humble enough to say to Philip solely, who's here and I'm here when it comes to street lifting, maybe in dips I'm a bit better, and squats and skills, but not muscle ups. Pulling, he obviously wins. He was talking about our pull day. I was humble enough to listen to him, and now the program for my guy changed. And after this deload, we're going to try it, and we're going to see if it works, and we're going to see if it doesn't. And if it works for him, I might try it, because I even told him, because he's an athlete, I let him do what he wants to do. I'm just the coach. But I even told him that I don't know if this is going to work, man. This seems a little bit weird. He said he wants to try it because it's Philip. I said I want to try it because it's Philip. And if it works, I get to try it and I get to learn. And I know how to program it now because I had Philip solely explain it. I want to listen to that guy when he speaks. So just be humble. Drop your ego. Drop whatever. So many guys tell you have an ego, it's a good thing, whatever. No. Having an ego, thinking that you're better than everyone, thinking that you know more, that you can do whatever, is a bad thing. There's a difference between having an ego, not having an ego, and being confident, being somebody who thinks highly of yourself. That's not egotistical to think highly of yourself. It's when you think so highly that you place yourself above everyone, even when you are above everyone. Okay, in some cases that's true. In some cases, I am simply better than someone. But we all have our flaws. We all have something that is wrong with us. I don't know what that is for you. You don't know what that is for me. But what I'm telling you is, yeah, you might be a little bit stronger with that person, but you don't know what experience they've had. Listen to them. Takes maybe 30 or 60 seconds. And then you can either modify your opinion on a topic. You can either reaffirm what you were thinking before, and it makes your belief stronger. There's no reason why you can't listen to someone, even if they're below you. This is probably the most important of the 7. You are a future world champion. You need to set the standard for yourself that you are already a world champion. You just need to wait. You're already there. You're already on the path. You're already on the roadmap. That ties in with the foundation that we were talking about before. You're already at that part of your journey. You simply just need to put in the time, put in the effort, and then eventually you'll hit that goal. I believe within the next 3 to 5 years, maybe a little bit longer, that's completely fine, I will be world class when it comes to calisthenics. I've already made amazing progress in the year I've done. Over 70 handstand push-ups, one-arm pull-ups, heavy weighted pull-ups with like 90% of my body weight for sets of 4. I've made decent progress. And I know that this is something I take seriously. I already train like a professional athlete. I really do. I thought about this recently. This isn't something like I joke with. This is something I take very, very seriously. And the thing is, I know I take it more seriously than most people. Pretty much everybody. Very, very small percentage who takes it a level above me, and those are the absolute freaks. Those are the people that nobody is catching up to. How do you think that makes me feel when I go into my training? How do you think that's going to make you feel? How do you think that makes the best athletes in the world feel when it comes to their training? It gives such a confidence. It gives such a purpose and a presence with their training, with their goal. You need to have the mental maturity and you need to have the mental strength to say to yourself, I want to be world class at this thing. You say mental maturity. That's completely unrealistic. Not everybody can be world class, because if everybody was world class, nobody would be world class. You need to have the maturity and think, I'm going to be world class at this. It is a girly beginner. I don't swear, but it is you can imagine what I want to say. It is a mistake, a feminine mistake, to think in your head, think in your heart, think with your spirit that you want to be a champion at something and not speak it with your mouth. That is a feminine, girly, disgusting, disgraceful thing that you can do as a young man. And that's coming from me. I was scared to say it for years. I'm still kind of nervous to say it. But I fully agree that it is a disgusting thing to do as a man who believes that this is their purpose. Absolutely abhorrent. You should be, you know what? I talked about positive self-talk earlier. This is one of the few things I think that you should be hard on yourself with when it comes to negatively speaking about yourself. You need to think that it is a disgrace to do these actions, to say and to think in your own head, your own brain and your own spirit. You feel it within your psyche. You feel it within your conscience that you want to be number 1, top 10, top 15, top 20, one of the most famous influencers, one of the best athletes, one of the strongest people in this movement, one of the most advanced people in your realm that you can possibly be. And you can't say it. I gotta wait for more results first. Once you're in it, you know. I played with Rubik's Cubes for years. I got to like a 5-6 second solve, averaged maybe like 15 seconds, something like that. But I knew it was just a hobby for me. When I got into training, when I was in the bathroom doing push-ups, trying not to make noise because I thought it was weird that I was doing push-ups in the bathroom, which it was, but I thought working out in general was weird. I knew that there was something different. There was something special about this specific action that I was doing. I knew that I wanted to be world class in some way. I wanted to be that world champion status. Every sport I've ever played, my ambition has been to be the world champion. When I played volleyball, when I started wrestling, when I started boxing for only a few months, my goal wasn't, I want to get to my first amateur fight. I want to get through this training session. I want to be able to be a pro. My thought was, if I think I can be the world champion, I will give it my all. And if I think I can't, then I'll give it up. That's why I gave up volleyball. Because my thought of being a world champion, Olympic level athlete went away because I'm short. I'm 5'4" and I stopped growing. My growth plates are closed. I got screwed. Granted, I'm thankful for it because I got to do calisthenics now. Being short is a huge, 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 huge benefit. But once that vision went away, I stopped doing it because I knew there was something I could be world class at. Because that's the mindset that I've always had for myself. For you, it could be different. For you, you might have to build that up. For me, that was something that was intrinsically built in. And I don't know about you, but that's something that you need to build in as well if you want optimum success. And that's very, very, very important. One of the most important things is surrounding yourself with people who are better than you, and worse, and on level. But surround yourself with guys who are interested in the same thing and people who are different experience levels, because the beginners you get to help, so you learn how to help beginners. You know how to not make the beginner mistakes because you're constantly correcting them. Guys on your level give you different ideas and give you motivation to keep progressing, because if you do 40 kilo dips this training session and then Jimmy does 40 kilo dips this session but he gets one more rep than you, you're kind of thinking in your head, oh my god, Jimmy's better than me, I want to beat Jimmy, I'm going to beat Jimmy, oh my god, I'm going to beat Jimmy. And you can argue that that's not healthy, that's whatever, because like you should be focused on your progress, and if you're doing more or less based on other people, then that's not optimal. I personally have had to learn this lesson, but it pushes you to go more towards optimal if you think about it in the right way. If you're thinking about making your best progress and you see people making their best progress, it's going to make you want more anyways. Surround yourself with people better than you. I have a guy in my own community who's doing 40 kilo pull-ups for 20 reps, who's doing 21 arm pull-ups. You know how insane that is? When he joined, what do you think I did? I was nervous. I was very nervous. You want to know why? Because in my community, I want to be the authority. My ego wanted me to be the person who was the special one. Let that sink in. I had the opportunity, and I have the opportunity, to speak to a guy who's light years ahead of me when it comes to progress, when it comes to training. What do you think I did after that? I remembered this. Don't have an ego, like we talked about. Be humble to everybody, even people who are worse than you. But also, I remembered that my goal is to progress. If I were to be weird towards him, if I were to like unsuspectingly kick him, oh no, he got removed, oh no. What do you think would have happened? I would have progressed less. What do you think that I did when I realized this? I messaged him. I said, welcome to the community, like I do to every person who joins. I asked him what his stats were. I already knew. He told me they're absolutely amazing, truly, truly inspiring. And I asked him, those are amazing. How do you get there? And completely humbly, he also sent me all of the sauce to keep it light. He told me how to progress. He told me his program. He told me all this. He sent me books and PDFs that I could find, like not pirated, but you know what I mean. He sent me free links to books that you otherwise would have paid for, but they were free, but they were on a website. So it's legal because you go after the website, not me. I just looked at the website, man. I don't know what you're talking about. This guy is like a really good friend now. He's like a mentor towards me because we share a lot of the same values, both Christian, both into straight lifting, different opinions on certain things, but we talk about programming, we talk about like how life's going. He recently just told me that he was having a kid soon. Like, having an older guy as my mentor is amazing. Especially someone who's on a very similar life path towards me, or with me, I should say. Somebody that I can kind of look up to for guidance. If I were to have an ego and despise this guy because he's better than me and I want to be the authority figure, I would have lost out on having like a really, really good friend and a really, really good mentor. Imagine if I didn't have the community that I have. Completely free, by the way. You can join it. The guy is in there. I am in there. It's the most amazing thing to see guys in there who are struggling with their first few pull-ups, who are so excited to get more reps, who are so excited to get better. And I get to help them, and I get to see them helping each other. It's genuinely a beautiful thing. So what I urge you to do, find community, find groups, but also try and run your own. Creating content is one of the best things I've found for networking with people who are better than me. Like, think about that. Imagine you're constantly thinking, this is the thing for young guys. You can't find friends who are on self-improvement, who share the same faith as you, share similar values, all this kind of stuff. Imagine if you started your own brand and you recorded videos, had your own communities, scripted them. It takes work. It takes a lot of work, honestly. But you did all of this stuff, and you can find your best friend, one of your best friends, some of your best friends. Because I know when hundreds of people have joined, my goal for my community right now is 250 people around the time I hit 1,000 subscribers. I will find my best friend because of my community. That's awesome. It's something I'm going to base my entire life off of. So you need to surround yourself with people like that. But also, side point, I urge you, start your own place, start your own club, start your own community, start your own club at school. You know how easy it is in the United States where I live, or in the UK where some of my friends live, to start your own school club? You literally walk in, you look at the lady at the desk, you say, I want to start a club. She says, okay, make an appointment. You make an appointment with the person you need to make the appointment with. A couple days later, you go in. I heard you want to start a club, she says. What do you want to start a club about? You explain, I want to do a street lifting club. It's like weighted calisthenics and stuff. I want to run it, and we're going to work out together and need the weight rooms these days. We can't give you the weight rooms these days. Okay, give it to us these days. Okay, we can do that. Sign this paper. You sign the paper, turn it in whenever you turn it in. You wait a couple days, couple weeks. Boom, you want a club. Start a club. Surround yourself with people. Make this something that is a part of your life. The reason why I was able to put in so much effort to wrestling, like 5-hour practices a day. You think I would do that by myself? No. The only reason I was able to do that was because everybody else was. Do you think I'm able to train how I'm able to train now when it comes to calisthenics if I didn't have people around me who are also doing it? No. I'm doing more because everybody else is. It sets a new standard. It sets a new principle for these things. Community is so important. I am one of the only people I know in the United States who is pushing this sport, pushing street lifting, pushing calisthenics. If I wasn't friends with all the European dudes and the Russian dudes and the Ukrainian dudes and the Moldovan dudes, I don't think I would be doing this sport anymore. I'd probably be doing boxing or wrestling still. I would almost certainly be wrestling still. But because I love the sport so much and there's people around me who do it also, it's the most amazing thing. That's what I'm telling you. It's so amazing. So find community. That's your actionable step. Either join mine, join another one. If you go on school.com, Simon Eisenhower has a decent one. If you go to Strength Gene on YouTube, Street Lifting Club, that's another really good one. I'm in there. I absolutely love that community. The people in there are awesome, and they're also super, super, super smart, and they're willing to give up all the sauce for completely free. It's amazing. Join the community. Join my community. Join other communities. Be around people who are like-minded in that way. Seventh and final thing. This is when you realize to transition from goal to goal. How I structure goal setting is I'll have a main goal. Right now for me, it's 100 handstand push-ups in a workout. After this, after I hit 100 on my hands, I'll switch to P-bars. So I'll switch to the little bar things. That's going to be different. The range of motion is going to be different. The balance is going to be different. I'm probably only going to be able to do like 40, 50 to start, something like that. Then I'm going to switch to also only 90 degrees. Then I'm going to be able to prioritize my weighted dip more. My weighted dip is going to go up. 80 kilos for, I think, 10 or 8 reps is my goal. It's 10 reps. I have a transition phase afterwards, so I know my goal now and I know what I'm going to do. And the goal after I achieve this goal is changeable. That's something that I can shift. The other day I was trying to practice one-arm handstands, and I actually held like for a second-ish, 2 seconds. Like I knew I could get the balance if I kept training it because I have very strong wrists because I train my wrists. So that's not going to be the thing limiting me. I literally could do like 10 or 20 attempts, and I know for a fact I would get like a 5-second hold or something. I had a journal not to do that because I have goals, and I don't want to affect those goals negatively. Because what would happen? I did a couple attempts, did a couple of sessions where I would do the handstand, all that kind of stuff. It would take away from my handstand progress. It would take away from my goal of 100 reps. It would take away from my goal of 80 kilos for 10 on dips. It would take away the fatigue from it because it's a new movement, would take away from my weighted pull-ups. Having like ADHD tendencies where you constantly switch up your goal is going to ruin your progress completely, 100% without fail. What you need to do is you need to have a transition to where you know what you're going to do after you hit your goal. You know a goal that you're dead set on, a number that you like, a feeling that you like, whatever. And then if you want to change it beforehand, I'm considering not getting to 60 kilos for 5 reps on weighted pull-ups because I want to train one-arm pull-ups, but I'm going to wait a long time to still have that feeling to make sure that it's something that I actually want to do. You need to be able to think, and you need to be able to realistically and confidently say to yourself that, okay, this is a goal that I wanted to hit. I don't want to hit it right now, though. This is something that I will hit in the future, but I want to do this thing instead. You need to be very careful about that. And you need to be able to have the kind of, I don't want to say foresight, but you need to be able to have the adaptability in that way to where, and that consistency to where you aren't constantly switching up your mind, because that's one of the biggest things with beginners, man. They constantly change up their routine, their goals, or whatever. They never give themselves enough time to actually make the change that they want to make. And that's so horrible. And I've done it, and you've done it, and you're probably doing it right now. Maybe not if you're watching all the way to the end, because then you have a golden attention span. Oh my God, please join my community. Please be my best friend, because nobody has an attention span. Jeez, don't be my best friend. That's weird. We'll be friends naturally. I'm not promising you to be my best friend. But anyways, please, 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 please stay consistent. Know when to transition, but transition appropriately. That has been everything. Join my community, you freaking nerd. Imagine watching this type of video all the way to the end. What's wrong with you? I'm joking. That's actually really good on you because then you have a really good attention span. Join my community. I also do coaching if that's something you're interested in. I only work with people inside of my community just for the sake of simplicity, and also I want you in the community and chatting with people and all that kind of stuff. I want you learning on top of being in my coaching program. So if you're curious about that, join the community. Once you join, I'll shoot you a DM, or you can even shoot me a DM. My DMs are open. I just have to accept it or whatever. My name is Brandon. Keep doing the best, doing your best. Trust God, build that foundation. Signing off.